Hi everybody, how you doing? Weather Extra. Here we go. What do we got? We got rain. Oh my gosh. I took 2 days off and the skies opened up and it just kept raining and raining and raining. And many of you are very happy about that, which is good. I want everybody to be happy. That's fantastic. Absolutely poured on Tuesday morning, poured yesterday. I know that there was some thunderstorms and there was a tornado warning issued for like a hot second, but severe weather reports were very limited. It was mainly just a rain event. That's what was expected. So it's all part of eventually it's going to be part of a frontal boundary that moves through sometime probably in the daybreak hours tomorrow. So we still have rounds of rain that have to come through today, early evening, and then another round Friday as the front moves through. More beneficial rain, severe threat low, and cooler temperatures and less humidity just in time for the weekend. So I said this like on Monday when I filled in for Brad. We could get the trifecta of awesomeness, and that would be to have beneficial rain, limit severe weather threat, and also cool temperatures off. And it looks like that's exactly how it's going to play out, which is good news. Speaking of rain, we had some showers this morning. Eric Burke was tracking them for you on air. They were making the roads wet for parts of the area for the morning commute, and we still have a few little showers. I went home to have breakfast, well, technically my lunch at 8 o'clock in the morning, 8:30 in the morning. And I had a couple sprinkles in Huntsville. There's a few sprinkles now, a few lighter showers back towards Decatur and even south of Moulton. Another pocket of some more steadier rainfall right near Rainsville, which is fitting since it is Rainsville. And that extends down into Albertville. So still some spotty showers out there. And this probably the way today plays out is not going to have the coverage of rainfall that we had Tuesday and Wednesday, but there's still some rain in the forecast. Still a chance of some thunderstorms, especially late in the day after we heat the atmosphere up a little bit. And still pockets of heavy rain in the forecast. That's not going to come to an end. So let me pull the graphics up so you can see them full. And there you go. There's those little spotty showers. Few and far between, but they're there. Hi, Kaylee. Good to see you on. I hope all is well. Tegan, hey, Jeff. Good to see you on. It's good to be here. I appreciate you all saying hi. My two awesome, knowledgeable weather spotters that live probably like 2 miles away from each other. Yep, pretty cool. So let me get to the next graphic. So Decatur, kind of cloudy there, but I did have to put the sunglasses on when I drove home. I did actually, after my sprinkle, on my drive back to the station, it was actually full-fledged sunshine. Not quite as bright with the party boat in the house in Decatur right now. I see some blue sky in the upper left, though. So a mix of sun and clouds today, and then we'll keep an eye on the rainfall opportunities. Temperatures today, stuck in the 70s to around 80, but it is really humid for this time of year. Dew point temperatures are in the 60s to near 70, but there's some cooler air just waiting in the wings to move in. And once this front, which is off to our west, moves a little bit closer and then passes through the Tennessee Valley tomorrow, it's all this cooler air off to the north and west that will move in. And there's some 60s and some low 70s. And I know we're in the 70s as well, but that color green that you see there in St. Louis, Des Moines, Chicago, Green Bay, that is all low humidity stuff. And it feels really, really good. And so we just have to have a little patience for that to slip south. And then the weather will get really, really good as we go into Saturday and Sunday, especially. The first full weekend of fall looks to be fall-like. Isn't that amazing how that works? Fall arrives and eventually we get it right. Dew points are pretty high, a lot of 70s. That's really high for this time of year. And that's also the amount of moisture that's in the atmosphere. So what happens is when you trigger a shower or storm with a frontal boundary, it can rain really heavy. And that's pretty much what we've had the last couple of days is any shower or storm has been literally a downpour. So we'll pop a few storms this afternoon, some heavy rain, and then through the evening, there'll still be some storm and some showers. Patchy fog for those of you who have some rainfall, which will probably be most of the area, mid-60s. The front swings by Friday, and that brings in another round of showers and storms. Most of the models keep the rainfall east of I-65, which would favor Marshall, Jackson County, DeKalb County, parts of Madison County. But the coverage doesn't look all that impressive, but still enough to keep in the forecast before we finally get into some better weather for Saturday and Sunday. Those of you who are concerned about high school football games, probably going to be just kind of a watch the radar in the afternoon, see how the storms play out. and hopefully dissipate as soon as we get into the evening, and therefore be okay for the games, much like it was last Friday, where there was some storms in the afternoon, and then once we got to about 5, 6 o'clock, the radar essentially just stopped, and the rain backed off, and the games were just fine. So it worked out well. Come on, 10-day forecast. Oh, I got to talk about the tropics really quick. So we have Gabrielle, watching Gabrielle for a long time now. Gabrielle is a fish storm in the middle of the Atlantic, Cat 1 now. It got as high as a Cat 4. And then you have, it's not Humberto, it's Umberto. Umberto is how you say it. Been forecasting many Umbertos. Every 7 years they rehash these, and Umberto's been a storm a couple times. But the track, like so often this summer, is to veer it towards Bermuda and then up into the Atlantic again. That would be awesome. And then that big cluster of red, that's another one we got to keep an eye on. That would be Imelda, spelled with an I to make it confusing, if it gets named. And that one may be a little close for comfort for the East Coast. Got to keep an eye on that and see where it goes. But all of a sudden, the tropics, which were past peak season, starting to get a little bit more active with potentially 3 named systems at once. For now, just 2, but we could have 3. Depends how long Gabrielle hangs on. Gabrielle, I mentioned this last weekend, that it would likely eventually bring rain to Spain sometime by the end of this week and weekend. And that is the exact forecast for Gabrielle, is to weaken and become a rainmaker for the Iberian Peninsula of Portugal and Spain as we go into Saturday and Sunday. Gabrielle making the scenic tour of the Atlantic Ocean. For us, nothing tropical except for how it may feel outside for you a little bit. And certainly some tropical-like downpours, but nothing hurricane-wise or anything like that. So we got some storms today. We got that leftover storm action on Friday. Some of the forecast models have literally nothing for Friday, and then others are really aggressive and bullish for areas east of 65 with some heavy rain. We'll keep an eye on it. There'll be some really cold air aloft, but there's also some really dry air at the surface, which would say that the storms would not develop. But the reason why the forecast model is putting out some rain is because they think it's going to rain, right? So let's keep it in the forecast for now. Saturday and Sunday is awesome. Monday and Tuesday look good. Maybe a stray shower on Wednesday. That looks like a really weak frontal boundary that will take the temperatures as they start to warm up a bit Monday and Tuesday, back down a bit for the end of the week, and just continues to reinforce that fall-like feel for much of that 10-day forecast, where the days are about where they should be or slightly below average, and the nights fall back to around 60, which means a few of you will be in the 50s in the mornings, which is really nice. The forecast got me so excited that I bought a mum. I finally bought a mum. Put it in the backyard. It's on the deck. Well, patio. Landon, how are you? Good morning. Thank you for stopping by for Weather Extra. Sarah, what's going on? Tell Daniel I said hello. It's good to see you on. I haven't had very many Weather Extras in the mornings lately. I worked nights for Brad last week. I was night on Monday. And I was off Tuesday, Wednesday, so I feel like I've kind of not been here for Weather Extras in the morning very often, but that will change next week. Schedule goes back to where it normally is. So I think I have 3 Weather Extras next week at this time. Oh, Tegan, what is the boat right there? I have corresponded with them. I call it the party boat, but it's not really a party boat. It's actually I think it gives tours of the river. And there's a really nice young lady who reached out to me one time and asked me, are you ever going to come on the party boat? And I don't remember the website, and I'm really bad like that. But if I ever figure it out, I'll send you a message. But she's really nice, and I forget her name, and she was awesome. She was watching one noon show. She's like, you just called the party boat. It's not technically a party boat, but it does give tours, I think, of the river there. I'll try to find out more information, though. Mike Gentle, good mid-morning to you, my friend. I hope all is well. Pool still open? Yeah, should be, right? Why not? Get a little chilly, though. That war going to get a little cooler here this week, right? You got some 50s at night. That always takes the pool temperature down a little bit, right? Good to see you all, my friend. Sarah says, is there any bad weather from Daniel? Daniel, I think the only thing that you got to keep an eye on is your awesome rain gauge you got going on in the backyard there, because we've been filling that up for you, my friend. And I know that you've been tracking a lot of rain at your house because you are a meteorologist in the works right now. Daniel going to be a meteorologist one day. I see it all happening right now. But your rain gauge, I don't know how much I'm sure it's so full you had trouble measuring it, but You have a chance to fill that again today and tomorrow, but I don't think there's any severe weather with this. I never felt like there was going to be severe weather with this at all. There was some gusty winds yesterday. I had a big limb out in my backyard, but it was just like a broken dead limb that just fell for the most part with the weight of the rain probably. I don't know. I didn't have any wind at my house yesterday. So, but Landis says, man, next Friday? You picked next Friday looks amazing. I think the whole 10-day looks amazing. And once you get past the rain today, I mean, this weekend, 82, 85, low humidity, sunshine, chef's kiss. It looks beautiful. 76 jumps out. But that Friday may come with some cloud cover, though. You might not have as much sunshine. But if you like 76 more than 80, then I guess it works for you. Good question. Do you think we're over the 90s? That's a great question, Landon. That is a good question. I would probably venture to say no. No. The reason why is October always has something up its sleeve. October's like, I got one more 90 for you. Don't worry about that, you know. And usually we have a 90-degree day in the early part of October. But I wouldn't say anything really jumps out as like extra hot coming up. Keep an eye on next Tuesday, though. Next Tuesday gets interesting. Still a lot of dry air in place. Sometimes when you have a lot of dry air, you can heat things up a little higher than the forecast models indicate. And that Tuesday 86 could very easily make a run at 90 in the afternoon. But I do digress. We'll see what happens. But I don't know. I don't think you can completely rule it out. October is always good for a 90. At least 1/3 of the climatological data says that. So I wouldn't say I'm saying there's still a chance. Sarah says, will there be cool weather soon? There's your 10-day. That's about as cool as it's going to get for this time of year. It's mainly below average temperatures for the entire 10-day forecast. And your overnight lows are about right where they should be. So is it going to be cooler than it's supposed to be? Probably not. And everybody defines cool differently. Like some people define cool as they want 70 by day, 45 at night. But cool for the Tennessee Valley this time of year is about 82 or 83 by day and about 60 at night. So I would probably venture to say there's a couple sweatshirt nights in there, though, because the air is really dry. That's always going to make it feel a little bit cooler at night. So if you drop back into the 60s by evening, that might be sweatshirt weather in there, especially Saturday night. Saturday night, I normally would say be very careful with fire pits because we've been very dry. But after all this rain that we had, I would think it would be okay to have a fire pit. And if you were going to have a fire pit, Saturday night would be ideal conditions. It's going to be clear. You can see the stars. It's going to be beautiful. And it'll be cool enough where you might need that sweatshirt. Or the fire may keep you warm. I don't know. Get some s'mores. Make some s'mores. Have some fun. I got a lot of rain, says Daniel. Yep, Sarah's talking about that rain gauge. That rain gauge been busy, right? Filling it up. I think Eric showed the graphic this morning, and it's like the estimated rainfall totals in the last 48 hours. And like sometimes we get like this bullseye that's got that purple red color, and you're like, wow, this one area had 4 inches of rain, and then all around it had nothing, right? But he showed it this morning, and it's not just a bullseye of like tiny. It's like this big area of purple that had estimated like 5, 6, 7 inches of rainfall in like northern Madison County up into parts of Tennessee. And we talked about this on Monday night when I was working. I said, hey, you know, there's a front that's going to be hanging out here. And if this little area of rain slips a little bit more south, there's going to be game on Tuesday, and it slips south. And though the rainfall totals looked like they were always going to be impressive for Middle Tennessee, parts of the Tennessee-Alabama state line got in on the action. And I expected rain, but boy, that rain total on Tuesday was crazy. And we added to that Wednesday with more rain, but the Tuesday rain totals were like real gaudy, like call it way overperforming, but models did hint at it though. So made a bigger one, a bigger rain gauge? Sarah, is that what Daniel did? I don't understand. Sorry about that. Sometimes I'm a little slow up here. Yeah, I remember. Plus, I'm already about 5 coffees in for today. Actually, 6. It's been that kind of day. So what do we got? We got today Thursday, right? Any events taking place? The Liz Hurley Ribbon Run coming up in a couple weekends. Boy, we better make sure the weather's good for that, right? Liz Hurley going to be tracking me down, tracking Brad down, chasing Eric and Jada too. And what's the weather like? But yeah, a lot of events taking place too. I think the Coleman Oktoberfest is next week. A&M is back home on the 4th. Eric and I are thinking about going to that game. It's against Jackson State. Always a good game. Trying to think of events that are taking place this weekend. I haven't pulled up my calendar. I usually do on Friday, but I'm actually off tomorrow. I have a personal day I'm taking. And I'll try to get some events lined up so I can talk about them this weekend, especially for Saturday. But usually there's always something going on. We're getting into the corn maze kind of season too, where everyone wants to go do a corn maze and a hay ride. A lot of different things that take place across the Tennessee Valley this time of year, and usually the weather cooperates. We've had a nice balance of rain this week with a beautiful weather just in time for the weekend. I don't know if it can get any better than that, unless, of course, your days off like mine are Tuesday and Wednesday, and it rained the entire time I had time off, but I still made the days work. But, yeah. Sarah says yes. Oh, it made a big one. Well, I'll tell you this, Daniel, you're going to have to, the way you've been getting rainfall out by you since you had the rain gauge, what am I talking about? You kind of need to make one that can hold like almost 9 inches of rain now at this point, right? Like, it's crazy how much rain you've had. Just keeps on coming. The faucet was on full blast the last 48 hours. That mum that I bought, kind of tipsy from all the rain. Had a little too much. Made it out of water bottles. Oh, Sarah, I got to see a picture of this. You got to send it to me. That's like a homemade rain gauge? That's pretty awesome. That's pretty awesome. Mike says, yep. Pool's still open. Gets a little cool, though, my friend. Dip the toes in and be like, ooh. All right. TVL coming at you at 11 o'clock. Peyton will be on in 10 minutes and like 30 seconds. I can't tell the seconds. And I'll have some updates of weather then. And then we are back on for the noon show. And it is Matthew King who will be here today with the latest news stories through the morning. Not only updating you on news as taking place throughout the morning, but also a look ahead to what's going to be on at 4, 5, and 6 tonight. And I will mix in a little weather then as well. So Brad's in tonight. Eric back tomorrow, Jada noon, I think, and Brad at night. I think that's the schedule. That'll cover you for the rest of the week, and then I'll keep you updated on your forecast for the weekend. Be tracking that front as it moves through tomorrow morning and brings some nice changes just in time for Saturday and Sunday. So everybody have a fantastic rest of your Thursday, and we'll talk again soon.